What's your tolerance back again? Oh yeah, by the way, this old mattress goes bye-bye because you understand why I have the new mattress. Let me show you why. Don't worry, the microphone's not going anywhere because it's connected to this computer. This. Well, you can barely see it, but still. This is a dumpster fire I wanted to do for a long time. You know, the first one, when Abyss became Joseph Park. By the way, we're 4 days away from him being in WTK25. So, again, I said that like 1,000 times already. But, again, go back to my SmackDown review, you know. 3 people I did not expect to be in a WWE game, but they are now. Abyss, Grey Muta, and New Jack. They're in there now. I mean, Muta was a DLC character in last year's game. That was like, what, in November? That WCW pack was. That was with DDP, Luger, Iron Sheik for some fucking reason. You remember that commercial where they show 4 out of them, but they didn't show the Iron Sheik, which was fucking hilarious. But still. Also, I didn't mention it in my Smack review also, but a business model in 2K25 looks actually pretty good. Unfortunately, it's the 2010 version of Abyss, but hey, at least it's not Abyssomania Abyss. I talked about that to death, and I don't want to talk about it again, so for good reasons, because I talked about it in my Fail Monday Wars video on it. The Abyssomania one, I talked about Hogan's time in TNA, Ric Flair's time in TNA. I'm done talking about that Abyssomania shit. Well, thank God I didn't mention my Mick Foley one because he had nothing to do with that. But that was the last one we talked about. Yesterday you saw Deception. Sorry for it took a while for me, but hey, film and action figures are not easy to do. But you probably understand why the main event was the women's title match and not the world title match. I know I'm dilly-dallying, but I want to get some stuff out of the way. Here's why, because that women's title match between Charlotte and Trish, that had a year-long story. So, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Does AJ Styles and Kane scream main event of a pay-per-view? Not really. I mean, yeah. But it was one of the 2 headline matches, so that's probably why. But let's get to this. The main downfall is on Baron Corbin. Where do we begin? I know he was let go by WWE in November, I believe. November or October, one of those months. But we're going to talk about before Triple H took over. And then, you know, but then I'll talk about all that. So his main downfalls began when he won Money in the Bank. As you all know, he was what, number 4 on my worst Money in the Bank winners? Yeah, you probably understand why he was number 4. Sandow was number 3 and Theory was number 2, but you understand why Brock Lesnar was number 1, because he didn't fucking need the fucking briefcase. You know, Brock party shit in that, but this is not about Brock Lesnar. Yet, in this video at least. Then he had that weird 1-month program with Nagamura where Corbin got himself disqualified and lost. He had a random SummerSlam program with John Cena, but before the match at SummerSlam, he cashed in on Jinder Mahal. Yes, this was the time where Jinder Mahal was fucking WWE champion. Because Vince. And Corbin failed his fucking cash in because of John Cena. And Corbin lost his match to John Cena at SummerSlam. So that broke John Cena's losing streak from 2011 to 2016. And that was not one of John Cena's best matches. Let's be fair here. Then he won the US title at Hell in a Cell. He did nothing with the belt. He lost at Clash of the Champions. He was in the Rumble where he didn't do much in the Rumble. So he didn't do well. He did well in the six-pack challenge for the WWE Championship, but he was a non-factor in that six-pack challenge, really. But we fast forward, he moves over to Raw, where he begins the infamous Constable Corbin storyline. Think Corporate Kane or Joseph Park, a video I already talked about, where he's getting under Kurt Angle's skin. Oh God. Then he had a feud with Finn Balor. He lost him twice. Once at Extreme Rules. The other he got squashed by the Demon at SummerSlam. Literally, he got his ass kicked in that SummerSlam match. But what was the night after? He was announced as the acting general manager. And things went downhill on Raw ever since. And then Roman Reigns has to go away due to leukemia, which causes the Universal title to be vacated. And what did Baron Corbin do at Crown Jewel? Well, he was in a qualifying battle royal against some jabronis, but then one of them ended up being Kurt Angle in disguise as a conquistador, which that was kind of hilarious to see Kurt Angle disguise himself as a conquistador. But what happened at Crown Jewel? He had a feud with Braun Strowman. He cost Braun Strowman the title against Brock Lesnar, which had given him back the fucking title. Oh my God. People were fucking enraged when Brock won the title. Like, I could go on a video on Brock Lesnar's part-time titles if I want to, but that's down the road. And, my God, the whole thing with Raw around this time period, wait for it, makes WCW 2000 Nitros look like they're good in comparison. And he lost his spot as the acting Raw general manager at TLC to Braun, where it was supposed to get a Universal title match against Brock, but that didn't happen. But this continued the feud between Kurt Angle, which you obviously know about this, so I'm not going into full detail about that again. Corbin was his last opponent. Oh, God. And then he went into the never-ending feud with Seth Rollins. Again, I already talked about this in my Seth Rollins 2019 Dumpsterfires on this, but he had a stint in Money in the Bank, but he didn't win. That was won by you-know-who. Then the never-ending feud between Seth Rollins, where it ends at Extreme Rules. I already talked about it, so I'm not going into full details about that again. He won King of the Ring. This was the longest stint as a king ever. Not counting Jerry Lawler, that is. Then he went to a never-ending feud with Roman Reigns again. Done that. It ended in early 2020. Lost to Elias at WrestleMania. That one WrestleMania where there's nobody in attendance because of the panoramic. Then he had another Money to Bank run, which he didn't want, thankfully, but it should have been to AJ Styles, but no, they gave it to fucking Otis. What else he did in the summer? Well, the feud with Matt Riddle, which the less I say about him, the better. And then in 2021, he lost his spot as King. Then became Homeless Squidward for a few months. Yeah, I know he wasn't called that, but seriously, he was like Homeless Squidward in that one episode of SpongeBob. Then he became... He simply didn't want to bet in Las Vegas. Because when the fans came back, that is. Went to a feud with Drew McIntyre. He lost to him at WrestleMania, and I think that was the last major program he ever had. Literally. So, then Triple H regime happens. He became the next wrestling guy, which... It was nice to see JBL there, but... This pairing did not last long. I believe it ended sometime after Royal Rumble 2023. Then he was undrafted. He went to NXT. Had that weird, like, strange match against Gable Steveson. Does anybody remember that guy? No. Went back to the main roster in 2024, and then he got let go because of it. I know I didn't go into full details about the Rollins and Reigns feuds because I already mentioned those in the Dumpsterfires before this. So yeah, I think about what the next Dumpsterfire will be next, so I won't tell you this, but yeah, tomorrow will be my Raw review, and then Tuesday, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Yeah. And moving on from there. Like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell. As well as my secondary show, Tales Retro Reviews, you will see on Thursday, ECW Heatwave 1998. And there, bye-bye.